So some dosha, some Agni. Once the doshas are balanced, Agni is balanced, it leads to some dhatu. Dhatu means tissues. So here comes the concept of Sapthadhatu. Sapt stands for 7, Dhatu stands for tissues, 7 tissues. So the very first one is Ras, means nutrients. This is something what I need out of my food, but there are people, they think like just eating is sufficient enough for them. There is a possibility that I think that I went on having the best possible meal for me, but even then I am feeling lethargic, exhausted. So just eating is not sufficient, I need to make sure that I digest it. But people, they eat it and it comes out through their fecal matter. So Rasa means the nutrients. I can obtain the nutrients out of my food only if I have balanced doshas and balanced Agni. Only. A balanced state of dosha and balanced state of Agni will fetch me nutrients. These nutrients, they are going to nourish my, so nutrients and the quality of nutrients I absorb after the process of digestion will improve the quality of my blood. Quality of blood will improve the quality of flesh, that means the muscles. So anytime I talk about the muscle and the muscle strength, depends upon the quality of blood. Quality of blood depends upon the quality of nutrients. Quality of nutrients depends upon these two things, some dosha, some Agni. Everything is connected. Otherwise what happens? If because of any reason, if dhatus, these tissues are not balanced, that starts what? Degenerative process. In modern medical science we say that 35 is the age that after 35 degeneration starts. Oh my God. Yes, but still people are having this as an idea. So that means there are people at the age of 40, they say it's normal to have high blood pressure. At the age of 50, it's normal to have some pain here and there in the joints. But I think this is not right, because this is just the ideas. Why? Because for a long time the person was not having proper digestion. And because of that, at the age of 35 or 40, it starts giving me these degenerative processes. So Rasa, nutrients, Rakta, blood, Mans, flesh, and then the fourth one, Meda, that's fat. Nowadays we are too conscious about protein in our meal. It's good, it's needed, but it seems like we are too much conscious of protein. Protein, 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 and only protein. And then it seems like we have ridiculed fat out of our meal. It's very important. It's very important. We need carbohydrate, we need the fat, we need protein. It's not that I can just survive on protein. No, I need all three. When it comes to fat, maximum part of my nervous system is nourished by fat. If there is less amount of fatty substance in my meal, what happens? It leads to restless nervous system. It leads to restless brain. So you require some fat to calm yourself down. If the fatty substance is less in the food, and I'm not talking about the fat, what we know as harmful fat. I'm talking about the healthy fat. So Meda. So Ras, Rakt, Mans, Meda, but it's formed by the nutrients, what I eat. Ras, Rakt, Mans, Meda. Asthi. I was just having this confusion. Asthi, and this is the bone. 6th is Majja, which is the marrow. 7th, Shukra and Shronit. So this is the food with this journey. As I've said, Annamaya Kosha is made up of food. So when I eat food, I receive nutrients. It gets converted into blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, and ultimately this is the culmination of food in my body. And the culmination of food, Shukra, it's the male characteristic things, and this is the female characteristic things. So when you think of Shukra, you may think of sperm. When you think of Shronita, you may think of the eggs or the ovum. When you think of Shukra, you can also think of testosterone. When you think of Shronita, you can also think of estrogen and progesterone. So male and the female, these two are potentially equipped to give rise to a new Annamaya kosha. For most of us, we think this is the end part. This is the end part. But we have already put some in front of these things, like some dosha, some agni, some dhatu. That means a balanced state of dhatu is needed. Where do we lose the balance most? Is actually, this is the area. Because of our inappropriate sexual behavior. So what is the appropriate sexual behavior then? So appropriate sexual behavior, that means between two sexual interaction, you must have 7 to 30 days fire. So yesterday I went on discussing it with the sexual interaction. So you see, it's supposed to be 7 to 30 days gap. Because that means it's a balanced behavior. Otherwise, what happens if it is less than 7? What happens? We lose it heavily. And when we lose it heavily, all these tissues, instead of building themselves, they send all the energy to fill this gap. So minimums, again, like, okay, I need not to say this because I was supposed to say something. So,
would that be masturbation also, or are you just talking about sexual interaction with another person?
Okay, so let's talk about sexual interaction. You pulled me there. I was not saying this. No, that's good. You need to be. You need to be. Means like the thing is, I was just waiting for the questions. Otherwise, it is like one-way traffic from my side. It's supposed to be interactive. So think of me a few years back. Not anymore, huh? So with my bike, I usually go fast with my bike. But if a girl is going in front of me, it seems like my bike is not going fast. Because it seems like I just want to hold my bike and I just goes. This is also a sexual interaction. Not only does the sexual interaction physically, but with eyes, with our body language. And it seems like some of the people, they're just sexually oriented most of the time. So I'm talking about this, that we lose this heavily, sometimes just with the fantasies. So there is a possibility that I haven't had sexual interaction with anyone for last 2 years, but you know, the fantasies are there all the time in my mind. On top, because it seems like this is only the sexual interaction. Now think of it, that you just walk down the town and you see a ring somewhere in the showroom and you want to buy it. Unless you're not buying it, you're losing energy. Anytime you get attracted towards anything, if you want to buy a car, if you want to own a house, if you want to have a designation, unless you're constantly involved, you're constantly discharging your energy towards that thing, and that is also a sexual interaction. So many ways I'm interacting sexually. Yes.
So desire.
A desire. Yes. It's discharging me all the time. And I feel less. But the thing is, if you can stay concentrated, like anytime we talk about dharana, dhyana and samadhi means concentration. Concentration of what? Physically, I would say concentration of the fluid. But mentally, the concentration of the ideas. That means the same energy you're going to convert into Shakti, the same energy you're going to convert into intelligence, the same energy you're going to convert into wealth is the same energy. Or you can give rise to a Annamaya kosha, you can give birth to a baby. It's the same energy. It depends upon you how you want to use it. Okay. Now the thing is, once the balance is maintained, people says like this is the culmination and the body is producing this on a regular basis. So if you use it on a regular basis, nothing wrong in it. This is what modern medical science says. There is a production of this on a constant basis, so you may use it. Just because they don't know what happens to this afterwards. Because pranamaya kosha is missing there in modern medical science. So what happens that if you maintain the balance of this for minimum 7 days, this converts further. As I've said, this converts into this converts into this converts into this. There is a conversion. So what happens to this? If it stays balanced in the body, further conversion, transformation of this happens into ojas. So that means after Shukra and Shronita, what happens? The person experiences ojas after 7 days. So the balance of 7 days gives me ojas. In English, I would say the very close one to ojas is immunity. Many things, like you require not just the physical immunity, but you also require the mental one. That means this is the start of cohesiveness. This is the start of cohesiveness. I would say it differently. So innermost core again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in this case, it seems like this is the physical body and these are the 7 tissues required for me to maintain the physical body. What is this ojas? I would say surplus of physical body. It's like your savings. Like you earn 2000 rupees a month and then every month you save what? 500 rupees. So surplus, that means the saving helps what? If you have surplus at the physical level, this helps your pranamaya kosha energy body, and that is ojas. Here comes a time that you have surplus not only here, but you also have surplus here. Once you have surplus here, it helps your mind, and when it starts helping your mind, that means the ojas is converting into tejas. What is tejas? Tejas means your ability to discern. Your ability to discern. But what do we need to discern? Ability to discern things out of abstract. Anytime an abstract idea comes in front of me, what happens in the classroom? We sleep actually. We sleep because it's very hard for us to deal the abstract, because it requires a lot of energy for you to understand the abstract ideas. And just because the energy is not there, what happens in the classroom? Oh my God, it's too much. Brain surrenders. It's just like, the computer hangs. If an abstract idea comes, the computer hangs. That means what? Tejas is missing. If my body hangs in front of a bacteria and virus, that means ojas is missing. Otherwise, no bacteria, no virus is strong enough to disturb the homeostasis of this organism. This is one of the most sophisticated walking laboratory on Earth planet. A tiny bacteria, tiny virus, they're nothing actually. But just because neither I have the tejas to understand the abstractness around me, nor I have the ojas to fight the bacteria and viruses, that means what? I don't know how to use the energy I have. That means I haven't studied the manual of this machine yet. Otherwise, there is a possibility for us to live this life as ever happening festivity. Diseases and disorders, they're not even a possibilities. So what happens to a person who's not having some dosha, some agni and some dhatu? And especially the person who discharges the energy on a regular basis outside. Now, if I'm constantly discharging the energy outside of me, I feel drained. And then what happens? My pranamaya kosha starts supporting my annamaya kosha. So I have weaker immunity. And then what happens? My pranamaya kosha is weak, and then my manomaya kosha starts supporting my.
So it can go both ways.
Yes, actually. Not only I discharge myself physically, but I also discharge myself mentally. And what is yoga? What was the intention? Go inside. How to go inside? Just by having the surplus. I would say we need not to be scared of yoga because yoga talks about celibacy. No, yoga is not talking about celibacy at all. Yoga talks about the mature sexual expression. Yoga talks about mature sexual expression. We're supposed to be mature in our expression of sexuality.